These are Bread and Butter's next two releases, the Wild Thang and the Psycho, and I think they might just be the best paddles that this company has ever made. One leans more towards a revamp of a fan favorite, and the other is totally new. Neither are out yet, but I've been hitting with both, and I've got some thoughts. Hey everyone, Bobby here with Pickleball Blast, and today I'm giving you my thoughts on two unreleased paddles from Bread and Butter, the Wild Thang and the Psycho. Now, I got my hands on both of these at the recent Nerdy Tourney hosted by Bread and Butter, which brought together a bunch of the top pickleball creators for some matches, paddle talk, and a whole lot of fun. And if you haven't seen my recap from that weekend, go ahead and check it out. I'll link it up above. While I didn't use either of these paddles for the actual tournament, I've spent plenty of time with them since, and there's a lot to like. And as always, you can save some money with the code PickleballBlast once these release. Let's start with the Psycho. So the Psycho is a big step forward for Bread and Butter in a few ways. First off, I think that this is their first 14mm paddle, which alone gives it a different feel compared to a lot of their previous offerings. It uses a familiar standard shape, think Filth or Fat Boy, but it's built with 10mm black polypropylene cells and has a CFC layup, meaning that you've got a layer of fiberglass in the middle. Spec-wise, the Psycho comes in at a static weight of 7.92 ounces, a swing weight of 103, and a very impressive twist weight of 6.8. That combination gives you a super light paddle with great hand speed and a very solid sweet spot. And while I wouldn't say this paddle absolutely needs added weight, I do think that you're missing out on some of its full potential if you don't add a bit of weight. Even a small amount can bring the performance up a notch, better feel, better plow through, all while maintaining the paddle's inherent very quick speed. In terms of feel, I'd describe it as slightly stiff but not harsh, with just a bit of spring from that fiberglass layer and 10mm core cells. It's got pop, but not uncontrollable pop, and the speed in the hands is what really stands out. This is a paddle that excels in fast exchanges, hand battles, and any moment where reflexes matter. Also worth mentioning, the design is more toned down than some of Bread and Butter's usual wild graphics, which could be a positive for those who want a cleaner look or something a little more subtle. So who is this paddle for? This is for the player who likes a lightweight, fast paddle, maybe prefers that standard shape, and doesn't mind customizing with some weight to really dial in its performance. It's not ultra forgiving, but it's not overly harsh either. You'll feel very connected to this paddle with good feedback and a great blend of pop and speed. Next, let's talk about the Wild Thang, and this one's especially exciting if you were a fan of the Shogun. The Shogun was already a standout paddle when it launched, bringing solid all-court performance and a great shape. But in today's market, that paddle has slid down into the middle ground in terms of power. The Wild Thing keeps the DNA of the Shogun, so to speak, but amps things up a little bit. You've got the elongated shape still, but now it has a fiberglass layer added and uses 3K carbon fiber, giving it more pop and offensive potential. Here are the numbers. 16mm core, static weight of 7.77 ounces, swing weight of 114.7, and a twist weight of 5.9. For comparison, the original Shogun had a higher swing weight at 120, a higher static weight of 8.2, and a higher twist weight of 6.18. So this new version is a bit lighter, faster, and more customizable. Now real quick, some people have mentioned this smooth portion of the Wild Thing logo possibly affecting spin. I haven't done any specific tests yet, but from what I've seen in gameplay, it really hasn't made any difference at all. This paddle still feels consistent in spin production. In terms of feel, it's a touch stiffer than the Shogun, which makes sense with the added fiberglass, but I wouldn't call it a stiff paddle overall, just slightly firmer than its predecessor. So who is this for? This is the paddle for players who love the Shogun but want a version with a bit more pop, better hand speed, and room to customize with weight. Whether you keep it stock for a super maneuverable elongated paddle or build it out with weight to fine-tune things like sweet spot and power, it's a flexible, well-rounded paddle, especially for the elongated shape. It falls in the all-court category for me, but plays quick and has just enough pop to make it dangerous. So yeah, both the Psycho and Wild Thang feel like polished, intentional paddles for Bread and Butter, really building on previous successful paddle designs and tailoring things a little bit more to today's game. You can tell the team is listening to feedback and evolving. Both of these are well thought out, feel great in the hands, and leave you with a lot of options in terms of playstyle and customization. They're not quite released yet, but they're close, the Wild Thang coming first, soon after this video releases, I'm pretty sure, followed by the Psycho, which should land sometime in August, I think. And you can use my code PickleballBlast to save 10% when they drop, and as always, that supports this channel and helps me keep reviewing more gear. If you've got questions about either of these paddles, drop them in the comments and I'll answer as much as I can. If you found this helpful, tap that like button, subscribe if you're not already, and stay tuned for more honest paddle reviews just like this, and I'll see you on the court.